The crowd roared for blood. Hit her again. The chant rolled across the training field like a storm surge, echoing against concrete barracks and metal bleachers. 2,500 troops stood shoulder to shoulder under the blazing sun, watching what was supposed to be a routine hand-to-hand demonstration turn into something far more dangerous. Private First Class Eva Moreno tasted copper where her lip had split. Across from her, Sergeant Briggs stood tall, broad, and grinning, his pride louder than the crowd. He had already swung once, harder than necessary. The second strike had been worse, not instructional, not controlled, personal. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. Eva blinked, sweat from her eyes. She had volunteered for the demonstration knowing it would draw attention. The base had recently opened advanced combat programs to more women, and leadership wanted a show of unity. Brig had agreed to assist, but assist wasn't what this was. The third swing came fast. Eva stepped back, her boots grinding into the dust. She heard scattered laughter in the bleachers. Some were uncomfortable, others were entertained. The line between training and humiliation had blurred, and everyone felt it. Inside, Eva's thoughts raced. If she retaliated too hard, she would confirm every stereotype whispered behind her back. If she held back, she would become the punchline. Briggs circled her. "Come on," he muttered low enough for only her to hear. "Show them." Another rush of anger flared in her chest, not at the pain, but at the assumption. The assumption that she needed to prove something, that she was here for spectacle. The sun burned overhead. Heat shimmered off the asphalt. Somewhere in the crowd, a captain shifted uneasily, sensing the tension but unsure when to step in. Brig lunged again, but this time Eva didn't retreat. She pivoted. The movement was small, almost invisible. His momentum carried forward. She redirected his arm, stepped inside his balance, and used his own weight against him. For a suspended second, the entire field seemed to hold its breath. Then the giant hit the ground. The impact was clean, controlled, precise. Silence fell so suddenly it felt physical. Dust floated around them as Brig lay stunned, staring up at a sky he hadn't expected to see from that angle. Eva maintained her stance, not triumphant, not aggressive, just steady. 2,500 troops watched without a sound. The moral tension hung heavy in the air. Had she gone too far? Or had he? Then Eva extended a hand to help him up. That single choice mattered more than the takedown. Brig hesitated. You could see pride wrestling with humiliation in his eyes. Finally, he took her hand. She pulled him to his feet with firm control, proving that strength didn't need cruelty to validate it. The crowd began to clap, not wildly, not mockingly, but steadily. Respect has a different sound than cheering. It's quieter, deeper. Brig rubbed his shoulder, then turned to face the formation. His voice, when he spoke, had lost its arrogant edge. Technique beats size, he said gruffly. Every time, a ripple moved through the ranks. Some soldiers nodded, others stared at Eva with a new awareness. But inside her, the adrenaline was fading, replaced by reflection. She hadn't wanted to put him on the ground. She had wanted fairness. There was a difference. Later that evening, sitting alone on the steps outside the barracks, she replayed the moment in her mind. Not the throw, but the chant hit her again. It would have been so easy to let anger drive her, easy to embarrass him further, easy to soak in the applause that followed. Instead, she chose control, because real strength wasn't about domination, it was about restraint. A shadow approached. It was Brig. He stood awkwardly for a second before speaking. "I pushed too far." Eva studied him. She could hear the sincerity beneath the gravel in his voice. "You did," she replied evenly. He nodded once. "Won't happen again." There was no dramatic reconciliation, no big speeches, just understanding, and sometimes that's more than enough. The next morning at formation, the atmosphere felt different, not lighter, exactly, clearer. The demonstration had become something else, a lesson none of them expected. Skill doesn't care about ego, respect doesn't respond to volume, and strength isn't proven by how hard you hit, but by knowing when you don't have to. Courage isn't about overpowering someone, it's about standing firm when the crowd is against you. Under the same blazing sun that had witnessed humiliation, something quieter had taken root: mutual regard. Because in the end, dignity is louder than any chant. If this story meant something to you, tell me what you would be done in that moment, and don't forget to subscribe to Cinematic Whispers for more powerful stories that challenge what strength really looks like.